So these people, they want to be so different, right? That their different became the same, right? So you have people that they decided to do something different, but then all the people they hang with look the same, act the same with that different, right? It's not like the different is uniquely just their own, okay? So they all have this certain kind of cloned look within that difference. Does that make sense? Right? So you got, and that is a wide range from religious to skaters to grunge to, you know, rock and rollers to, you know, gothic to, and the Barbie dolls, right? I was when I was transitioning into my femininity, right? I was feeling like, quote unquote, back then it was the misnomered word black Barbie doll, right? And then it went into, obviously it would have been indigenous, but the whole thing is that um Barbies are fake, right? I think somebody actually had uh, done the dimensions, like calculated the dimensions of her figure, the Barbie doll, the actual Barbie doll's figure. And when they attempted to scale it to size, like it was just ridiculously off. Like for a woman, like it was like ridiculously off. um in like architectural engineering, mechanical drawing and stuff like that, you have to scale things in your drawing to make it legitimate at whatever size it is, right? So scaling it would be equivalent to what it would be at a larger size when they build it, right? But it's exactly how it would be, just blown up. Okay. So, or sized down for the drawing. So anyways, they did something to the effect of that, right? Where they're just taking those exact measurements and then making them bigger, at the same, the the scale is just moving up so that you can see what that looks like on a like mannequin per se, rather than a Barbie doll, right? In a human size, okay? And it was just like ridiculously not okay. So I don't remember exactly what those measurements were, but it was just like impossible, right? For a human to have those types of measurements. So anyways, um the whole idea of, you know, this, okay, so this whole Barbie doll thing, let's hit that for a second. All these women are getting plastic surgery, and kudos to y'all. You spending all this money. My ex-best friend, she literally had spent thousands of dollars. I'm talking about probably going into the hundreds of thousands on plastic surgery. Okay. But she still actually had the underlying insecurities of when she didn't have the plastic surgery. So you, when you have something like that going on, then you've really not tackled the root cause of what the real underlying issue is, right? So, yeah, you had all the surgery, but your self esteem is still low. You still have these insecurities because you're seeing something different in the mirror now, but the inside is not reflecting that, right? So you haven't dealt with the maybe trauma from the bullying, trauma from, um, I mean, I'm talking about when people before surgery, right? So there's these wounds that have went unchecked, okay? Eating disorders, okay? Unhealthy habits with, laxatives and bulimia and throwing up, like all this unhealthy, toxic stuff that is horrible for the body, okay? So, anyways, outside of that, right? Um, there's this issue that if women have all these plastic parts, then they're like this far off from, accepting other, you know, um, genders per se with plastic parts, because a plastic part is a plastic part is a plastic part, right? No matter who has the plastic parts, it's a thin line. It's now a slippery slope, right? So, I used to wear a lot of makeup. No, I wouldn't say a lot, but kind of a lot. I mean, a lot more than now, because I ain't wearing none right now but some chapstick. I don't got nothing on. Nothing but some chapstick, okay? And so, anyways, like my YouTube, profile picture or whatever it's called, it has my face with all this makeup on, right? I used to do my eyebrows and wear eyelashes and all that stuff, right? And you know, I started I started really thinking like, well, one, for since I was like a teenager, guys would tell me, "Oh, you don't need makeup, you don't need makeup." Da 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 da. But back then, I was like drinking gallons of milk, not realizing I was lactose intolerant, and eating all kinds of, crazy stuff that had, lactose in it, and not realizing that I was allergic. So I would break out, and I would break out all over my face and my back, and it would be embarrassing. And so until I got off of all of that, um, and like cleanse my body, like then my face started clearing up, right? But anyways, yeah, most of that stuff is not external, like what you're topically putting on. It can be if you have sensitive skin and allergies to things on your from your skin perspective, but a lot of this stuff is actually based on your nutrition. I'm just gonna throw it out there because most like to lie about it. I had a science teacher that actually I had asked her because we were studying about the hormones. What grade was that? I want to say it was in ninth grade at Sanger High. And I had asked our science teacher, you know, if, you know, hormones can be dictated by food, right, that you eat, then wouldn't the foods be the cause of like breakouts and stuff like that if hormones are what causes breakouts? And so, I was just thinking very logically, like one plus one equals three, right? And it was just like that's gonna go over some people's heads. Too bad. You'll get it later. Um, but it can. There's multiple answers to that question, so that is actually a correct answer. You just don't know why it's correct yet. Okay, if you think it's incorrect. So anyways, so I had asked this teacher, and she was like, no. And then I was like, man, I don't trust this fucking no more. I never trusted her after that because I was like, that don't make no sense. You lying. Because, it just like logically goes in order. Like, if this affects this and that affects that, then this affects this. This is the end result. Like, it make it, the math wasn't mathing, okay? It wasn't mathing. And so I was like, eh, wrong answer. And I don't trust you no more. Okay. So, anyways, so getting back to this other topic is that it's been a slippery slope with and that was part of the agenda. These men, and some of them I feel like they were coaxing women into getting all this, so it would be like a slippery slope with okay, so she got fake titties and he got fake titties, so they still fake titties, type thing. Yeah. And I have two little cute kittens that have been uh how do you say, the mom like trusted me to bring them over here, and they are just chilling right here. They are so freaking cute. Like, I want to turn the camera to them, but it's kind of dark. I don't know if you guys will be able to see them, but they're so tiny. They're like this little, and they're sitting here like I'm teaching class. I swear to God, they're just right here, just sitting here looking at me while I'm doing this video. It is freaking the cutest. Maybe if I had a flashlight on me. But you know what? Wait, hold on. Let me see. I know this is totally like sidebar. One of them just ran away because of that big semi truck that just passed by. Oh, you know what I do? I do have a flashlight. Hold on. Ah! Oh, but they ran. No. The other one ran when I turned the light on. Wait, but maybe I need it on my video. Hold on. Woo! Yeah. Hey. Oh my God! I should have been using this light. I didn't even think about it. This is actually a power pack. You know what I'm saying? But it's had a flashlight on it this whole time, and I've had this, and I could have been using it for my videos when I'm doing them at night because my night videos are dark, dark, dark. Okay. Well, you live and you learn. This is like one of them studio lights that, the ring lights. You know what I'm saying? This is like bright. Yeah, I like it. So, anyways, um, yeah. So, this lady just left a comment on one of my videos, and she was talking about what a woman influencer had stated in her video that I reposted, that has a timestamp of where I had made this influencer aware that I had went through domestic violence, and I was reaching out to see if people could help me. I was literally fighting for my life. I had just survived 2 attempts on my life, and my baby, like week-old baby, uh, was kidnapped. So, anyways, on that video, she had commented, and I wrote back an entire comment in reply, and the Wi-Fi shut off, and it literally deleted my whole comment. So hopefully she watches this video, and I'll just tell you what it said, or I'll try to remember everything. I'm gonna pause it really quick while this train goes by, because I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to hear me over the train horn. So I'm gonna pause it. Okay, so I think the train has went far enough. It's like still going by, but I think um it's far enough down that the horn won't be as loud. So, anyways, so what I was stating in the reply to this woman, one of the replies is actually on there. The second one, when she's actually referring to that she hadn't seen the part where I'm discussing, like in the comments of this influencer's um, live feed, what was going on with my situation. She hadn't seen it yet. So once she seen that, she was like, "Oh," and she put some like little prayers in the comments. Okay, so what I stated to her in the um, in the reply was about um, me reaching out to the influencer and her actually blocking me from getting assistance from people that were even locally in the area where I was at, and people that were abroad that were actually willing and like totally able and actually, asking for my information to help me. Okay. She blocked those people from actually doing so. She said something to the effect like, let her vet it out, that, if like what I was saying was legit. I sent her via email, this influencer, I sent her emails of my personal, information, right? And then she acted like she couldn't get into her emails. Okay. And yeah, so I went back on another live and, let her know that the situation was still going on. And hey, I sent you the emails of all the evidence and proof of what was going on. I really do need and require assistance, and, she just, yeah. And what was sad is that I had been a viewer of this woman's channel for a few years. What was sad is that this woman was allegedly, supposed to champion women and children and be like the kind of like, how do you say, protector mother type of energy. And so I actually, gravitated towards her channel because I felt like her and I had a lot in common. Okay. Because I'm very, very scientific as well. I'm an undercover nerd, and, I'm a cool nerd. I'm very unique. And a lot of people in school, unless they were in my classes, they would not think, or yeah, they wouldn't think that I was top 10% of 4.0 students, like, because I was just cool, you know what I'm saying? So they would, and then I was kind of like jockish and, funny, and, like, they would not think that if they weren't in my class. Now, if they were in my classes, they was like, nah, they would be hitting me up outside of class like, hey, can, today when we do this speech or when we do, this presentation, would you mind going last? They would be telling me, I swear to God, I cannot make this stuff up. They would literally be asking me, yeah, because if I went first, their grades were going to suffer. I cannot make this up. It happened at numerous schools because I lived in over 40 different foster homes and group homes approximately. It could have been more than that. I'm not sure. But that means I went to a lot of schools, living in all those different counties, all those different foster homes. I went to 6 high schools my sophomore year of high school, and I think it was a total of 13 high schools that I went to before I graduated early. Even I still graduated early with all my credits, all my units, and even got what was that, a scholarship to go to Fresno State summer arts. Yeah. Yep. My junior year, I got that scholarship and went during the summer. So, anyways, getting back to, our various topics at hand, right? Is that one of the things that I wanted to discuss, and I guess, in that video, it was talking about, preachers and preacher sons, and, preachers' sons being kind of like, you know, um, kind of like the rebellious children in some ways. But why were they rebellious? Because a lot of them had been, they don't like people don't like talking about it, but a lot of these masculines were touched, as children inappropriately. And so, there's issues with that. So anyways, this woman in my comments, she was stating that, man, I should have pulled up the comment, so I could see it right now. But I told you the Wi-Fi had went out, so let me see if I can get it while I'm recording so that I can actually, maybe it's still, okay, she said, so this is Jeanette Jackson 991, okay, and she edited it, but she says, I have a different theory about preacher sons. I don't know if it's true in every religion. There are a lot of priests and preachers who are closeted. They have children who won't be as closeted in this world, which wasn't the same when I was born. It might be because of what she says, meaning the influencer of that video. This is before she's seen the time-stamped area where I'm talking about my son. So it's a whole hour like video, but where I chime in with what I'm going through is all the way towards the end. So anyway, she says, it might be because of what she says, but there also might be another explanation, and that is that people are born that way. Genetics and environment has a role in everything. Okay, so in that reply, man, I wrote almost a book, okay? Not really, but I did. I wrote a long reply. And just so happens that the Wi-Fi went out and my whole comment just disappeared. Just magically disappeared. So anyways, I'm going to reply when I get some internet, and I'm going to direct her to this video because this is where her answer is. Okay, so or where her reply is. Okay, so I had stated that there are a lot of agendas to feminize men. Okay, and it's happening in a lot of different ways, right? And so I first honed in on Tyrone Hayes' work because, okay, so Tyrone Hayes' work, it really goes over, and let me regress. So for people that do not know about Tyrone Hayes, he worked at Syngenta. Syngenta is a company that puts out herbicides and pesticides that go over, I can't remember the percentage, but it's a really high percentage of fruits and vegetables that masses consume. Okay, so he was hired on as a scientist to Syngenta to basically say that, or do studies to say that their herbicides and pesticides were safe for human consumption and that they were cool, right? So what he found in his studies was that they wasn't cool. Okay, they were not cool. And so he was doing tests with frogs, and what he was finding was that the frogs were basically, the male frogs were actually transforming with this herbicides and pesticides, with being introduced to these herbicides and pesticides, the male frogs were actually turning literally into female frogs, full functioning, reproductive organs and all. So they were transitioning into female frogs, okay, with reproductive organs and ovaries and all that great stuff, right? To actually be a full functioning, full-fledged female frog. So if you're putting that as an herbicide and pesticide on fruits and vegetables, and it's happening to frogs, then it might be happening to the masculines. Now, when she stated the fact that some men or masculines, excuse me, are born like this, yes, that is true too, but it actually is chemically induced as well. So what is going on with this is that women that are consuming chemical products, chemicals like those herbicides and pesticides, processed foods that have specific, ingredients in them, they too, they can cross, these things can cross the blood-brain barrier. They can cross through into the amniotic fluid. Some of these things can cross through or go through the placenta. Okay, and so these chemicals are in that way affecting these masculines in the womb. Okay, now what I had stated for her to look into regarding that is someone who was calling out this feminization of masculines before it was actually full-fledged to where it is today, and that was Dr. Phil Valentine. And a lot of his videos have been banned or removed, censored unlawfully and illegally from YouTube. It has been, because that's a censorship and a violation of what was that, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, right? Freedom of press. Okay, so you are violating, YouTube is violating people's freedom of speech, people. I don't care what the algorithm is, bitch. That is a freedom of speech breach of amendments, constitutional. And people will say, oh, well, we're gonna be going into martial law. No, we've been in, if you are a citizen of the United States, you already been in martial law since Abraham Lincoln was shot. Check it out. I cannot make this up. See, people don't do their homework. Okay, so they use these things as fear-mongering, fear tactics. You already been in martial law. So anyways, getting back to what I was talking about. In reply to this woman's comment, okay, those are two main people that I think are relevant to the discussion. And Phil Valentine has a book that people can reference where he's calling some of this stuff out, and he had it in a lot of his talks and speeches and lectures and stuff like that, which you might be able to find some on YouTube. I don't know, they might be on other people's channels, but his channel was actually, like, he was banned, I think, from YouTube because he does, not everything that he says do I agree with. However, a lot of the stuff that he has stated, I'm in agreement with, because I have seen some of this stuff with my own scientific eyes, okay, my own eyeballs. And seeing isn't always believing, because they got Project Bluebeam, so you got to kind of be like questioning that as well, so anyways. And then anyways, there's a whole bunch of scientific stuff that's going on, so you just got to use your intuition and have your your scientific mind always in go mode. Okay, so those two men are highly relevant when it comes to the discussion of the masculines being feminized. There was another brother that did talks, lectures, and speeches back in the day, and he had some videos and lectures on how boys are educated incorrectly in the school system, that the school systems are educating towards the feminine principles, right? And so he actually, discussed a lot about, masculines back in the day. I wish I could remember his name right off the top of off the top of my head. But what I will do is I will look it up and I'll put it in the description. Or if anybody knows who I'm talking about, put it in the comments, okay? Because he's very popular, very well known. It's just his name is escaping me at the moment. Anyways, so yeah, that is highly important. People are talking about all these, you know, um, he, she, her, them, then I don't know. Anyways, I am going to say 1000% I am not politically correct at all. I'm going to be using all the words and all the other stuff that, and I don't care. I don't care that I'm politically not correct because, first of all, I'm not a citizen of the United States. I'm not a resident. I'm not a clone. I'm a human, working on my goddess status. And, well, nah, I'm really a goddess, but, I do like, I'm living this human life. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, the point is that, um, there are masculines that are born like that, but it's not naturally. This is not a natural occurrence. This is chemically induced and it's happening in the womb. Okay, so that makeup that you're wearing that has all these chemicals in it. See, that's another reason why I stopped wearing makeup too, because like I transitioned into like organic, natural, makeups and stuff like that. And then I stopped wearing it altogether. When I was pregnant with my sons, I didn't want to wear makeup because I didn't want none of that makeup affecting my unborn children. Feels like I have an eyelash that's trying to go in my eye. Anyways, so I literally made the decision to not wear makeup while I was pregnant, okay? Because of the harmful effects that it can cause. Now, that's with perfumes, lotions, soaps, shampoos, perms, nails, like all this stuff, right? Has toxic effects on these babies, okay? Then on top of that, especially some of these fruits and vegetables that have these specific types of herbicides and pesticides. Then you have all these chemicals in the processed foods, right? Soy is causing a lot of havoc in these masculines' body as well, right? So soy acts as a synthetic estrogen in the masculine body that has them growing these mestisses, these titties without. Some of these masculines don't want fake titties, but they growing real titties because of what's in these foods. Okay, you got to get off all these processed foods, and them titties will disappear. You're gonna see. I can't make this up. Anyways, I'm just gonna end this video here and leave y'all with that. I said a lot. I said a lot in this video, so don't believe me. I don't want you to believe me. Research this ish for yourself. When you see it with your own eyeballs, then you can, then you can make the decision from there. You know what I'm saying? Don't believe what I say. I don't want you to believe what I say. I want you to go and search this stuff out and like really look into it, because there's something that happens to somebody, when they actually see it for themselves, when they actually do the scientific study and research and or go through the scientific process to quote unquote vet something out for themselves. It's something that really does happen, and it's a beautiful thing. So it's more of a solidified knowing when you see this stuff for yourself. And so yeah, I don't want to take that from nobody. Okay, go look into it. Okay. And I'm a scientist at heart. I'm a scientist of life. That's what I say. So yeah, everything is up for question. Yeah, That's right. I questioned everything and everybody, and I have been questioning people since I was a child. I was that child, like, okay, why? But why? Why is this? Why is that? How does that work? Can you tell me how you did that? I mean, and I'm talking about everybody. Yeah, so and that's why some people, some adults, they didn't like me because they didn't have the fucking answers. Yeah, they were just trying to say some shit and they didn't know. They was just making some shit up and or repeating something from somebody else that they had learned from somebody else, but they didn't really know the ins and outs and the inner workings and anything to actually know why they were even saying what they were saying. Like they had no depth and concrete foundation for what they were saying, right? And so me questioning them, sometimes, I mean, they felt like it was an attack when it was a real, how do you say, like it was really me being inquisitive. I was very inquisitive as a child and still am. I never lost that. I want to know. So, yeah, my child's father actually thought I was like coming for him because of me asking him some things about his Hebrew. This is my last child's father, who was a Hebrew, right? And me wanting to respect and be culturally correct for both sides. I had asked him things about what is appropriate for Hebrew children's nativities, babies' nativities. And, just asking simple things like that, would piss him off because he didn't know. That's not my problem. Like, if that's your culture, because they say it's not a religion, if that is your people, then you might want to know those things, especially when you're getting into, allegedly, some kind of relationship with somebody or having a child with someone, so that you can do things appropriate to your culture that you say that you're a part of. But you got 10 children allegedly, and you ain't know what's culturally correct for babies. Like, that don't make no sense to me. Anyways, I asked another Hebrew, and they didn't know either. So it was just like, is that not part of? Because culturally correct for me, there's a whole bunch of stuff I can name off, and identify as what's proper and what's not. Breastfeeding is proper, right? Lotus birth, aka lotus nativity, okay, where you keep the placenta attached, that is correct. Wearing the baby for a few years, never like just putting them in a car seat unless you driving somewhere or a stroller, stuff like that. Wearing the baby, almost 100%, like that's culturally correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, you keeping that baby on you. It keeps them calmer. Anyways, it's a whole bunch of things. But the point is that like I could go through a whole bunch of stuff that is culturally correct for Indigenous, Aborigine, Autochthonous people that are original bloodlines of this land. What is proper? So he couldn't do that, and so he was like thinking that I'm coming for him. But I was really asking him from a genuine, sincere place of, let me be respectful of his culture as well, while I'm gonna do what's culturally correct for my child, on my side. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, that part. Okay, so I'm gonna end this video. You guys have a wonderful day whenever this video reaches you. If you found anything of interest, or if you have any questions, if you have any comments or would like to add to any of these things, do leave a comment. And if you are vibing with everything that, or it don't have to be everything, because I don't be, vibing with everything on other people's channel that I view or whatever. But if most of it or whatever vibes with you, make sure you hit that subscribe. Definitely hit the like. Liking is free, okay? I don't know why people are so stingy with the likes. It's free. It's free. It's 100% free. Listen, only haters don't like videos, right? So I got all these views. Give me some likes. Don't be a hater. Like, I don't know. I've never been a hater in my life. I can't. I understand and understand that they're not living up to their purpose, and they see me living in my light and purpose, and you know, it kind of like stirs up emotions in them. But I hope it stirs up so much that you start living in your purpose, hater. Okay, yeah, that much. Mm-hmm. And then you become a quote unquote participator, right? So you living in your purpose too. Okay. Um, yeah. Just anyways, I could go on about haters. So um like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, uh, comment, and you know, like I said, I be doing this stuff, homeless, houseless. So you know, y'all can hit up my Cash App and help us to eat or something. You know, um, in the meantime, in between time, until you know YouTube starts, you know, paying me for making these videos, because they ain't doing that yet. All right. Anyways, I ain't gonna beg it either, you know, cause I shouldn't have to, you know. People should care enough that, like, I've been through enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've put out enough. I've helped enough. You know, I should have, like, you know, the rest of my life full of good karma of all the stuff that I've already done for people. Like, real talk. I've helped a lot of people and never even asked them for payment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being for real. Like, hooked people up in business, and you know, like, all kind of stuff I've done. I'm not even gonna get into all that, you know, because I don't gotta brag and I don't gotta put my stuff out there like that. But people know how I've helped them, whether they want to say it or not. Maybe I should do a video calling these motherfuckers out. I don't know. I'll think about that. Peace.